Okay, so we're in a city now. So that happened. Disturbed, Zachary decided to show the photographs to Hannah herself. He was greeted by a wary look right upon arriving at the mansion. Just in time, Hannah appeared to save Zachary from further interrogation. At her request, Zach accompanied her to Luxborn City. Perhaps if they had a bad relationship, he wouldn't have agreed to her. I don't know, just a thought. Mary Ann is going to be the next one. Interesting. We don't know anything about her, almost. If someone told me I'd be spending my entire morning being dragged around half of downtown Luxborn looking for furniture, I probably would have simply smiled at them. Then perhaps even giving them a good friendly pat on the shoulder and wish them a nice day. Not that I find anything wrong with this at all. On the contrary, this is most definitely a nice change of pace after weeks of getting bogged down by several freelance gigs and shutting myself inside my apartment whenever I can. If only the weather would be a whole lot nicer. The kind with less sun and more clouds, perhaps? Wait, what? Are you insane? You need that vitamin D. With the mid-morning sun slowly beating down on us as high noon approaches, I can see why Mr. Wright skipped out on this trip. The bright side is, the whole thing seems to have put Miss Wright in a less somber mood. After the fifth store, her pace is considerably livelier, her gesture less guarded than the one she displayed at the mansion earlier. Oh. The presence of another person might have helped as well. Can I speak of the devil? Although Miss McCullough seems less predisposed to small talk, preferring to keep it to herself most of the time and let Miss Wright lead us wherever. She did acknowledge me with a small nod when we were introduced earlier. But that makes standing outside the store to get it any less awkward while we wait for our client to finish her inquiry inside.
So, interior design, huh?
Wait, shouldn't she be with her when she shops if she's, actually working for it? That's a bit strange, but okay. She casts me a sidelong glance before returning to her notes again, her pen scratching faintly against the paper in quick successive strokes. They could hit it off too, maybe? I'm just kidding. I'm just, because of their professions. Ah, there goes that. I did say I'm not any good at striking or keeping conversations going, didn't I? She doesn't look back up again, and I take that as my cue to stop any attempt of striking a dialogue with her and keep myself occupied with some other thing. Except what we have here is just Luxborn and its busy streets. People going about their day like normal. Cars moving in and out of sight heading to who knows where. Nothing remarkable, really. The ease with which a person can fade into the background here is reflective of the kind of city Luxborn will always be, but the humdrum's one thing I learned to live with. Needless to say, it doesn't usually stay that way. There are times when it would come alive, make itself known, and reassert itself back to the world. However, those moments are few and far in between. Then again, with what graces the news channels lately, I'm starting to think it's going to happen sooner. Can't say I'm looking forward to what it will bring.
Luxury living, is it?
Her voice effectively cuts through my thoughts just as I count the 13th passerby wearing a hat today. Beside me, I can hear the faint rustling of paper and the clicking of her pen as she stashes them back to her bag.
Excuse me, what?
The magazine you're working for. It's Luxury Living, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You've been featured by them before, I take it?
A few years back, yes. For just some issues. My designs still appear from time to time, though not as frequent as before. Gotta have room for new talents, right?
It may not show in her face, but the pride is evident in her voice.
Good folks, the people running the publication. Tell me, is DK still on the editorial team?
I wouldn't know. I've only started taking jobs from them this year. Freelancer,
Good man, that guy. Anyone in our field should meet him. He had a lot of things to say about art, all of them relevant. Learned a lot from him, actually, even if we both came from two different fields. I hope he's in a good place. I haven't talked to him in a while. Anyway, your portfolio must have been good if they gave you the job. They don't easily assign big features to freelancers like this.
I wouldn't say I am, but experienced, you know? The more you practice it, the more you learn the tricks of the trade. That kind of stuff.
I know what you mean. Still, you've got to keep up with the competition. Each year, a new talent emerges and, well, you never know. Clients can be a bit fickle-minded with their choices. Believe me. Speaking of, do you think you'd be up for a new client after this?
Think so? Depends on how big the project is.
She reaches into her bag again. Ooh, interesting. This time to pull out a business card, which she hands over to me.
When you're free, send your portfolio to Chris. He's my assistant. He's been looking for a decent photographer to help with updating the studio's portfolio. Nothing urgent, but the sooner the better.
Not sure if I'll have the time to squeeze this in. But, alright, I'll give it a go once.
Marianne, could you look this over for me?
At that very moment, Miss Wright emerges from the store. When I look back to Miss McCullough, a mask of professionalism has returned to her. Or at least that is what it is trying to be. There's a different light in her eyes as she faces her, a flicker of familiarity and recognition. I say it's fondness, but that would be too presumptuous. Oh jeez. Presumptuous. There we go. Nailed it. Whatever it is doesn't last and is briskly swept under the firm tone her voice assumes.
Definitely. Is there a problem?
They said they don't have the colors you suggested. Do you think we can change it around for a bit? It might take a while if we insist what we want, and you know I'd rather not worry about this later.
I think it'd be better if I handle this one myself. Excuse me.
She walks into the shop without another word, leaving the two of us standing outside. As soon as she's out of earshot, however, Miss Wright lets out a giggle and swipes the business card cleanly off my hand. She smiles, a bemused little thing spreading across her face, and waves the card in front of me. I wish she'll do that more often, the smiling thing. It suits her more than the other one she frequently shows to the media.
I look away, and the next thing I know, you're picking up women. On the streets, while the sun is high, no less. I'm not sure if I should be appalled or amazed.
You jelly?
Whatever happened to the Zach I met a day ago? About as tall as you. Photographer. Quite the gentleman. To tell you the truth, I'm a bit disappointed he's gone.
It ain't like that, Miss Wright. And I'm sure Miss McCullough is not the kind of woman to let herself be picked up by strangers, let alone people she barely knows.
Oh, shush. Let me have my fun. And didn't I say you can call me Hannah? This right after you introduced yourself as my friend in front of my husband. I do believe this isn't how friends address each other. Too formal, don't you think?
She gives the card back to me nevertheless, and with it, her mood fades into a more pensive one. An odd look settles on her face, yearning, a bit wistful as she looks back towards the shop's display window. There's nothing remotely interesting in it for me when I follow her line of sight though. A few trinkets here and there, a fur rug, a sofa, a wooden side table, and a lamp, all tastefully picked and arranged to resemble a typical antique living room. On second thought, it does look comfortable. But why they added a crib beside it baffles me. Unless, of course, the people they're hoping to market to are those who already have children or are about to have one. Then maybe it is fitting. Peculiar choice of decorations aside, it does make for a nice icebreaker if it's not on the same level of weird and completely out of the blue. It still leagues better than the awkward silence, which is definitely too out of character for personality like Miss Hannah's. How should I start the conversation? And she's got the trouble with she wants children, and oh no, no, this is not good. About the make a good gift thing, that could kind of be like her giving the crib as a gift to her pregnant friend. I don't remember her name, but you know, that woman. I don't want to screw this up, so let's see. Oops, I'm sorry. That might have been a really loud noise. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if that was the case. Where I think that one looks cute. But then maybe she would just get really excited. But this is so hard because the gift thing, that might just remind her of the fact that her friend is pregnant and she's not even close to having children. So you know, this is difficult. I think I'm just gonna go with that. It looks cute. I'm scared. Okay, I'm terrified.
Oh, I think that one looks cute.
It went up. Yes. High five, guys. Did you do it? Oh, right. There you go. Hannah box, to my surprise, shuffling 2 steps away from the window and glares at it with such vehemence as if it did something remotely scandalous. A funny sight when taken out of context, and I probably will be laughing. Really, if I understand what warranted such reaction from her.
I wasn't looking at the crib.
I wasn't really talking about the crib, Hannah.
Ooh.
Very good then. But it wasn't the crib, all right.
Alright, I get you. But that's not it. Honest. I was just saying the stuff that was on display there looks nice. Or at least as nice that it can be compared to the ones we visited earlier. But I'm sure your interior designer has something different in mind for your mansion, so don't mind me.
I was hoping that would be enough to cut the topic short. Instead, she sighs, leans on the wall closest to her, and runs her hands through a lock of her hair. There is a far-flung look in her eyes even as she fixes it on the concrete curb.
You need to stop looking at people like that, sweetie.
I'm afraid I don't quite catch your drift, ma'am.
I suppose you wouldn't be aware of it. Do you know you always carry this kind of phase? Like you're always staring at the world with this honest look. Like all there is to see is all the good in it.
Frankly, I don't see anything wrong if it's like that. I mean, there always has to be something in it. You know, a sprinkle of kindness here and there. Otherwise, we'd all be miserable.
For you, maybe. Some people have to fight through it just to see that. And kindness isn't always a great thing to have around. Sometimes too much of it can hurt.
It makes you wonder where this is coming from, how bad things have really gone for her to have this view. I do understand her sentiment, really, I do. Still, when it's the last thing you can cling to when things have gone irreversibly bad, sometimes you simply don't get to make a choice.
Besides, the point is, it's impossible to lie when a person is looking at you like that. Or I could, but I'd feel like a horrible person afterwards. Did you hear that, Mr. Zach? You just made me feel like a horrible person. I sort of wish I had one like it. Just so people would stop lying to my face.
Or you can start by being honest with yourself. It shouldn't be quite hard. Friends don't lie to each other, don't they?
I guess so.
So what was the lie?
She draws in a breath, lays a soothing hand to her stomach.
That it was really the crib I was looking at earlier, silly. You're right, Uncle Zach. It's cute, but the pattern's not to my taste. I'm pretty sure Marianne could do something about that, though. At the moment, what I should really be worried about is if I'm ever going to be a good mother to this child. Mad! I can't even tell the father he's going to be one in a few months' time!
What? What did you mean by that?
Probably doesn't even want anything to do with this whole pregnancy thing. What am I going to do, Zach? Because right now, I'm absolutely at a loss.
Are you seriously pregnant?
Oh.
A bee.
Oh!
The realization strikes me like a ton of bricks suddenly bearing down on me. Are he's just tricking us. More than astonishment must have shown in my face because Hannah lets out a chuckle. The slump on her shoulders disappears altogether underneath her mirth.
Don't look so surprised, dearie. Tied the knot 7 years ago, remember? Don't you think it's bound to happen?
She brandishes her hand in front of me, the unassuming silver band on her finger glinting against the late morning sunlight for a second. She eyes it lovingly, almost tenderly, despite the traces of sadness in her voice. For all I know, there's an entire story there. I'd ask, but that would be too inappropriate even for friends. It's not my place to meddle to begin with.
Or at least that's what they've been saying early on. My whole social circle would be saying it's a long time coming.
But the kid is something you want, right? Because if it ain't, then that's a whole other problem.
Of course. I wouldn't deny I've been hoping to have him or her for a long time now. But then, now that we're here, all of a sudden, there are a whole lot of other things to be worried about. Business, a new home, public image, my own husband, and I don't know. I didn't really have anyone for a role model.
I don't think stressing is good when you're pregnant. So,
I practically grew up with nursemaids pampering me every step of the way. What if it happens to this baby as well? Oh, I can already see how this will end.
Huh. I guess it's not just my sister.
What?
You and my sister. I mean, you're both having jitters or something like that. That's what it's called, right? First baby jitters? Mind you, she was really convinced she'd do everything wrong then. He even called me in the middle of the night. Has to switch places the day she found out she's carrying a new member of the family. Never mind how utterly impossible her request is.
I'm quite sure I haven't done anything of that sort yet.
Oh, you don't know that? My brother-in-law has been telling me things 5 weeks into my sister's pregnancy. Since she's one cranky pregnant lady. Man, good thing I found a place for myself years before that bundle of joy arrived, huh?
It can't be that awful.
Who knows? I think we'd better leave it for Mr. Right to decide, yeah?
Provided he comes around. He just sounds so repulsed every time the idea is brought up.
Then maybe you should say it to his face. No mincing of words or beating around the bushes.
oh no, and now she's left for a while. They're not broken up, but you know.
And if he says no?
You haven't even told him yet. Besides, that's his kid. Don't people usually say fatherhood changes men? I wouldn't call myself a living testament, of course. But there ought to be something that will hit him in that idea alone.
A wrecking ball would be nice.
Laughter escapes me before I can stop it. And for a moment, I thought I have done something wrong when she doesn't join in. He's still her husband, no matter what guests or complaints she hurls about him behind the media's eyes or in the presence of people she trusts. But when she does, her chuckle, a small hesitant sound at first, I find the rest of my unease slipping away.
Well, whatever it is, my point is, you've got no idea what will happen. In the same way, you don't know if you'll be a good mom. Trust me, my sister's been there. It's perfectly normal. If my opinion matters, though.
A long second of indecision goes by. I can feel her eyes filled with nothing but curiosity, boring into me while she waits for the rest. It's just a simple sentiment, but one thing I think she needs to hear for all the dubs she unwittingly places on herself. I'm just not sure if it should come from me. I'll be damned.
I think you'll be a great mother, Hannah.
If she has an answer to that, I don't get to hear it, nor does she get to say it. As soon as it's out of my mouth, the bell hanging over the antique store's door shims out, and comes Miss McCullough. For more than one reason, I have never been so relieved or talk got interrupted.
Everything's been taken care of for tomorrow, Mrs. Wright. We'll have everything you requested delivered early. I've left them instructions, but I may have to visit again right before your housewarming party to check for a few things. I hope that's acceptable to you.
More than Marianne. This is a little early to say, but you did marvelous work with the mansion. I can't wait to see all of it come together tomorrow.
We haven't even shown her the picture. I feel like we're not going to.
I'm only doing my job, ma'am. Needless to say, it's always a pleasure to hear a client is satisfied with my work.
Nonsense! You have every reason to be proud.
Oh my gosh, what if like that ghost lady is going to possess her baby and she's going to be born as... Okay, no, I'm just going on. That's not going to happen.
I know you've already established your name here, but I'll still make sure word gets out, of course. I think I've got a few friends who might be interested in decorating their homes. I'll see if I can introduce you to them tomorrow.
I really don't want to impose, Mrs. Wright. There's still a lot to be done, and I'd rather be keeping an eye on it myself.
You know well enough I'll still do it. You too, Monsieur le Photographe. You better be the one taking the pictures for the event tomorrow, or I'll be very upset.
I blink at her, confused. Last I checked, I have nothing scheduled on my plate tomorrow. A couple of fleeting thoughts did cross my mind, like working on personal projects, but with the expectant expression on Hannah's face alone, I wondered before how they got Isabella to sell them in the mansion with all the paperwork and the loops it has to go through. Well, now the how is already standing in front of me, and is one giant ball of persuasion in human form. If I have any doubts how she got around life, all of them have been dispelled right this instant. Hannah hasn't said anything yet, but I already know what my answer will be.
What event?
Our housewarming party, dearie. I've already sent invites through your publisher. They should have informed you of it by now.
I may have probably missed it. I haven't gotten the chance to check my mailbox yet. Deadlines, real-life happenings, they can be pretty hectic. I'll try later, but they might have already assigned it to a different photographer if they haven't received my reply yet.
That's not a problem. Nothing a little call from me can't fix. I'll have them know I'm specifically requesting for your presence. It shouldn't be too hard. Just promise me you'll show up. I expect to see you both there. No excuses.
Good company, good music, good food. Of course I'll be there.
Lovely. I hope we have that settled then. I'd love to stay and chat, but unfortunately I have an appointment scheduled with the doctors after this. You two will have to excuse me.
Are you feeling fine, ma'am?
It's nothing big.
There's a short while in which her hand faintly touches her stomach when she says this. Her smile, as she does so, a tender thing in itself. She might never let it cross her mind, but motherhood would suit her. The kid is already loved even when he or she has yet to have a sense of the world. Candid moments like this, I wish I had brought a camera for.
Sorry we had to cut this short. I'd love to have lunch with you two, but, well, you two know how it goes.
It's quite fine, Mrs. Wright. I need to get going as well.
Is it somewhere far from here? I can have my driver drop you off on the way.
No, please. There's no need for that, Mrs. Wright. It's just within the city.
I see. What about you, Zach? We did leave your push bike at the mansion. Don't worry, I'll have someone bring it to your home later.
Nah, I live within the city too. A few blocks from here, in fact.
Dude, the photo.
I only visited earlier because...
Right. Here it is. The photos. Right, there were even more photos. You're right. Damn, I've actually completely forgotten about them. My hand grazes the side of my pocket where I've kept them since this morning. And sure enough, they're still there, waiting for the whole world to see them.
Because, Zach, sweetie, you're zoning out.
Miss Hannah, earlier, at the mansion.
Should I still show her the photos? I don't know. Probably not, but probably yes. You know. I'm just too curious, right? I don't know. I'm just too curious. So, I mean, because if I weren't going to show her, never mind, is probably going to be the right one, but you know, look, I really want to see what will happen. So, but again, I think it's good. You know, if everyone in them are aware, so they can, like, somehow just fix it or whatever, I guess.
I think it would be better if you take a look at these yourself.
It went so down. Oh no. Oh no, it went really down. It went down like two big... Yeah, okay. Seeing is believing, right? Okay, no, this was probably this was such a bad idea. Oh jeez. Are they cursed now? Is she cursed for real? Is she... What if this means she will get seriously cursed because she sees her own face like that? Oh no, I didn't... Well then. I killed Hannah. I killed both of them. I've killed them both. Okay. I reach into my pocket and pull out the photos, handing everything to her. Recognition flickers across her eyes when she reaches for them, and I have to stamp down the tiny twinge of regret in my stomach for having the gall to show it to her. Oh, I did something bad, guys. Only it cuts deeper the instant both her and Miss McCall's expression changes. It's not a good look. To say she's repulsed would be a total understatement. All this time, Hannah has been nothing but direct, saying what she feels, expressing what she wants. Away from the glamour and the camera lenses, she's a whole different person. But she goes through each of the pictures, I can't get an easy read on her.
Zach, dearie, what is this?
Your photos. The ones you requested copies of. I mean, they came out that way and I thought you should know.
Oh, I get it. You know, I've heard before that artists can be a bit weird. Have you ever gotten that kind of comment, Marianne?
Not in my line of work, I'm afraid. Or ever, Mrs. Wright.
Wait, does she... No, that didn't change. Okay, interesting.
I'd rather keep my personal hobbies away from my actual work. Less stress that way.
Well, I suppose it just never crossed my mind that the saying applies to you as well, Zach. But talent's what's important, As long as you make good art, it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, that's... You see, when we had that photo shoot yesterday, there was something.
I wouldn't say I don't appreciate it. I did ask for copies, darling. But would it be possible for you to give me normal-looking ones? Preferably with my head intact. I admire the effort you took to edit this, though. It looks authentic. Frankly, if I show this to some other person, they'd probably believe those silly rumors about the mansion. Good publicity, but not the kind I'd want for my new home. So please.
Shoot. She drops them back in my hands like their very surface burned hers.
If you could redo this, that would be wonderful. I'm positive you can do a better job than the one you just showed. Just try to keep the edits to a minimum,
Yeah. I can, sure.
Come on, stand your ground. Just tell her, since we've already going down this road, just seriously tell her that you didn't do any of that editing. Seriously. It becomes even worse if you're just going in half-heartedly.
You can take your time, of course. And speaking of time, I really must go.
I guess decision-based games won't, like, instantly just change a person's personality, because I guess he is the type of guy who would step down in this sort of sense. It makes sense, you know? I should have thought more about the decision, definitely. She leaves without so much as a wave. Oh. Oh gosh. Oh no. I don't have to take a guess to know I've dismayed her, or in her own words, weirded her out. Beside me, Miss McCullough shakes her head. What are the odds I've also ruined my chances with the job she offered earlier? Oh no, you're totally right. Very high, I'd say. It's a foolish idea in the first place. Miss McCullough departs shortly after Miss Wright has taken her leave, muttering something about getting a quick lunch before fetching brew from Chris. I did a mistake. At Luxbourne City, Zachary and Hannah met with Marianne McCullough. While Marianne was busy, Hannah disclosed her pregnancy and her frustration to Zach. At the end of their talk, Zachary showed her the photos, which earned the disapproval of both women. I don't know who a Bruthiel is. It must be important for her to be in this kind of hurry. And while she doesn't seem to be fond of small talk, something we can both agree on. Lunch sounds good, or a walk around the city maybe. But with the sun as high as it is now, nah. And after how things with Miss Hannah went, I simply can't muster the appetite for anything at the moment. Oh, I'm sorry. If I don't do anything with it now, I have this impression it will rear its ugly head again. And by then, things might be too late to fix. What other choice do I have? Ash? Rebecca? In all likelihood, all they'll give me is a pat in the back. And a "see, man, go get some sleep, you're at it again" from Ash. Oh, why did I do that voice? I don't know. Ooh. No, okay. I talked to Isabella, but I haven't seen her around since she showed up at my apartment 2 days ago. Does that mean a story update thing? Does that mean that she could have showed up at someone else's apartment? Maybe? Weird. There is one person though. The priest? I don't know who else is there but the priest.
Damn, I should have thought of that first.
It's gotta be the priest, right? Yeah. Right. As it turns out, I do have another choice. I'm not a religious person. I won't identify myself as such. Rather, I can't. Sure, my grandparents didn't have to force me to go weekly. I'd happily join them. In fact, most of my childhood Sundays have been spent attending service. It's simply that, as you get older, the more experience you get, forming your own beliefs on things becomes easier, for lack of a better word. And at one point, it just stopped. That kind of thing. Nevertheless, I hold on disdain for it. Sometimes it does help. When things are really, really bad, when the dreams won't stay where they should be. Talking does, a bit. It's also a good thing Father Norman, right? That's his name. Well, it's not completely the pious man you'd typically expect. My unlikely friendship only probably happened because he's the kind of guy who's cool with the young ones, as he so aptly puts. And he is surprisingly, it makes him easy to approach. Like that one time with Isabella. I don't think he believes in the ghost kind, but there he went. Maybe he has something to say about the photos as well. It won't hurt since I've already gone ahead and went to Anselm at daybreak on my bike. At the very least, I know I won't get shouted at by whoever answers the door.
Unless someone does that inside a church. I highly doubt it.
Probably not. I think you're fine. Despite its age, the Luxbourne Church is a thing of wonder in itself, with its high-valued vaulted ceilings and intricate stained glass windows. Yeah, I think, like, the architecture, churches, like any religious buildings, and just really old buildings, they're so cool to look at. They really are beautiful, and I just sometimes feel like modern architecture isn't really that amazing to look at, I guess. It's definitely costs a lot of money to make it beautiful, so, but it's just kind of sad. One of the many gifts the Ermengarde family donated to the community in its early days. Or so I heard from Rebecca. She mentioned this once, although most of it flew over my head then. This time of the day, the church is mostly empty, save for a few visitors and ushers shuffling about, some muttering their prayers under their breath. The scene of burning candles and incense permeate the air, giving the place a general feeling of reverence. Pretty welcoming, all in all. Even so, I keep the noise my treads make to a minimum. Disturbing the quiet feels like a sin alone. An usher points me to a pew in front of the altar when asked where Father Norman prays. He mentioned something about the good priest not being in good health. Oh. Seriously? Ever since he did a favor for a friend to bless an old house, has he gotten ill because of the curse or something? Have I killed him? I've killed everybody. I'm just assuming that I killed everybody, but I mean, come on. This is the first time in days he's left his room. No surprise there with the weird heat lately. Even Rebecca caught something. Nervous little shop, the kid. Nevertheless, he leads me close to the foot of the dais. We're reminded not to stay too long before walking up. Really? Do you get sick because of heat? I mean, isn't this supposed to be like Britain or something? It's never really hot in Britain if this is supposed to be in Britain. I don't remember what this is supposed to be. Or is this just some made-up place? I don't remember. I was so close to pressing the wrong thing. I don't know. Little shop. The kid, nevertheless, he leads me close to the foot of the dais, with a reminder not to stay too long before walking off. Seconds later, Father shakes and stands. He doesn't seem to have noticed me, and I have to give him a little tap on the shoulder. When he looks, though, say surprise is an understatement. Oh, hiccups.
Stay away!
Oh no, I've cursed him. I cursed the father. Norman. Oh no. I cursed him. I feel so bad. I didn't think that the thing would be able to appear in a church. I thought it was supposed to be holy. Obviously I was wrong. Shoot. His voice comes out as a whisper, almost inaudible in the hush, a quiet restraining indifference to where we both are standing. But the tremor is there. He focuses on me with wide, bulging eyes, copious amount of sweat appearing on his forehead, despite the relative coolness of the place.
Father Norman? Keep your distance.
No.
Hey, it's me, Zach, remember?
Stay away, don't come near me.
It must be the fever talking, or whatever he caught. It has to be. I don't recall ever doing anything for him to drive me away like this. In all the years I've known him, it's been nothing but polite, nothing but accepting of people regardless of beliefs or status in life. I'm just sorry, I just think the sound is a little bit funny. I'm not scared of those kind of scary movies. Like, kind of sounds like a clicker from The Last of Us, or for words akin to a threat to come out of him. It's simply beyond unimaginable.
Go back to where you came from. Leave.
Father, what did I do?
He's not talking to you. You little poor person.
Leave now.
I extend a hand to his shoulder, meant to be reassuring, where he recoils, his ankle catching on the edge of the dais as he backs away. His shout, when I attempt to reach out again, echoes through the entire hall, catching the attention of the few people inside. I try to keep a level tone, but with these strangers' eyes trained on us, Panic starts to wave its way into me.
Stay away, demon! Go back to the hell you came from!
Father, it's okay. I only came here for some pictures I thought looked odd. I figured you might know something.
From my pocket, I fish out the photos and try to hand it to him. Instead, he strikes my wrist away, almost like an accusation, and sends the photographs fluttering uselessly to the floor. Helpless, I can only watch as he curls into himself on the ground, a sad, blubbering mess whimpering to himself. He tips his head forward and begins rocking, his hands clapped over his ears.
That accursed spirit, so full of anger and pain. All those horrible things I've seen. I can't sleep. I can't eat everywhere I look. Go away. Go away. Go away. You're not supposed to be here. This is a house of God. Be gone, demon. Lord have mercy, God, our Lord, King of ages, all-powerful and almighty. You who made everything and transform everything simply by your will.
Wow, that was intense. Okay. So a lot has happened today. Disappointed because he wasn't able to accomplish his mission with Hannah, Zachary went to his friend, Father Norman, for advice. However, in an unexpected turn of events, the priest vehemently pushed Zach away, yelling curses and calling him a demon. Okay, that's misleading, but because we know that he didn't, but okay, whatever. He didn't, right? I mean, he was aware, right? I mean, he really did see the things. I guess this is from their point of view, then? I don't know. A number of people have moved closer, mostly just to gawk. So, because the people think that he's talking to Zach. Thankfully, as if to save him from being an utter spectacle, 2 ushers come out, taking him away. One of them, the kid from earlier, shoots me an apologetic look. I can't even return it to him. Anxiety is a powerful thing, a firm little notion that clings, eats, and consumes you. I can still hear his prayers even as they drag him away.
May he keep at bay and vanquish every evil power, every poison or malice invoked against us by corrupt and envious people. Then under the protection of your authority may we sing in gratitude.
It rings, hums in me as I am left to pick up the pieces of this chaos. Back to square one we go. If there is salvation in this, I hope we find it soon. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. My heavy frets and the sound of traffic outside echoing in my ears, filling the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana will scold me if she ever hears me walk like that. But after today, I really can't give a damn about everything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I unceremoniously flop down on it and find myself looking at the paper under my grip. Oh, be there, Hannah. Hey. So, she's not totally freaked out, but she's not really the biggest fan of us anymore. As promised, Miss Wright had my bike delivered back to my apartment. Found it parked in the rack downstairs with an invitation and a note tracked to it, in fact. Be there, it said. If only it were that easy, but it'll give me a chance to talk to her. Raise your glasses, give cheers to the good times. You're cordially invited to the Wright's housewarming party, October 28th, 2006, Friday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon onwards. Ermengarde Mansion. About that thing in their house. Right. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of the bed along with the invitation. I'll think about it tomorrow, when my head ain't muddled with thoughts of a headless woman and the haunting smiles of a ghost. But lately it occurs to me I haven't eaten anything since I left this morning, and an empty, gnawing ache makes itself known, but I can't bring myself to stand up. Today was a complete waste of time, and frankly a disappointment. I'm sorry, I just totally ruined this, obviously. I don't like this. The lack of certainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been throwing out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense of than this. Closing my eyes, I let the noise from the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's one thing that hasn't changed.